Welcome to People Doing Good for Others, where we celebrate and praise those who are truly making a difference in our communities, those who give and share and care. I'm Gary York, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. And we want to thank Wilkes Communications, Riverstreet Productions, and WIFM and Elkin for this opportunity. Very special guest today is Cam Finley. He's a significant community advocate, a native of Wilkes County, North Wilkesboro, and a person who's given in countless ways. And good morning to you, and I'm glad you're here.
Good morning, Gary. Glad to be here.
Cam Finley goes back a long time as a developer, and we met at a scout meeting several years ago, and a bonding that I shall always treasure. And this community has embraced you in a special way. And I want you to talk about, start with some gratitude of the opportunities you've had and being a community advocate, that you're always looking for an opportunity to make lives better for people, Cam.
Well, thank you. I grew up here in I was born here in North Wilkesboro and grew up with a very rich family. Not financially, but with good parents and a good church family, scouting, that kind of thing. And I still manage to stray a whole lot, and you'll find that out if you talk to enough people. But it's such a blessing to me to have had that opportunity to grow up here with a lot of support and good work ethic and that kind of thing. So I've just try to do the next right thing most of the time.
Well, talk about, let's start with scouting. How that's played such a key role in your life, and you talked about a scoutmaster. And last time we were together, you were at McNeil Nissan. Your youngsters were there selling hot dogs. The scouting is about raising money and having the assets to do and setting a good role model. What went on that day, kind of, how does a scout leader, what is he doing when he brings youngsters together like that?
Well, that particular day, we have one scout that's actually up for he'll receive his Eagle Scout Sunday at North Wilkesboro Presbyterian Church. That's Daniel McNeil. And his uncle owns the Nissan dealership, and he does a lot of promotions, and promotions involve hot dogs. And he needed, he actually had a Heisman Trophy winner there as part of the publicity. I can't remember.
George Rogers.
Thank you.
Yep.
And had one of the trophies there. But our job was to serve the customers and whoever hot dogs, and Mr. McNeil provided those for free, and
David McNeil and Scott.
That's right. And so therefore, he was very generous in providing a donation to the troop, which does provide funds to operate. We do have to come up with our money. So,
yes.
So it was a really good event, and we were glad to be a part of it.
And the troop's been in consecutive the outreach of 85 years. And tell us about your church and the troop number and how many kids you have.
Well, the Troop 336 has been sponsored by North Wilkesboro Presbyterian Church for 85 years. In March of 31, my grandfather became the first scoutmaster of the troop, and it's been going continuously since then, and we think it could be the longest continuous charter in Old Hickory Council. Now, there were years in there that, they were very small, but nevertheless, continuous charter. So he encouraged a lot of Eagle Scouts. My father became a scoutmaster for a short period of time, just a couple of years. They were both Eagle Scouts. My grandfather received his Eagle Scout as an adult. You could do that back then. And I saw that he had a scout card of 1917. I've got that card. But nevertheless, I joined scouting under Roy Forehand, we called him the Colonel because he was a colonel in World War II, and he kind of treated us like an army, and we were a large troop. We marched. We still do this, not as much as the Colonel marched us, but we stand at attention and do that kind of thing and do the salutes. So the Colonel was a big influence on my life and many, many others. I think he had about 90 Eagle Scouts during his 20 years there. And I was fortunate to become one of them. My older brother, Eagle in that troop. So there was 3 generations. And you know, once I got my Eagle Scout, I kind of ski-daddled and did things that you do when you get driver's license and you start chasing women and that kind of thing. But when my oldest son became 5, I got re-involved in scouting. He was in Cub Scouts, and I became a helper in the Cub Scouts. And ever since then, which that was 24 years ago, I've had some role in scouting as an adult leader.
Cam Finley, share with our audience today some of those values that you see, that the traditions in scouting, how it gives courage, how it gives confidence, how it gives ethical living and values and morals. Just a little bit about the true nature of the outreach of Boy Scouts of America.
Well, certainly a goal is character building and leadership, integrity. There's so many subcategories of all that, but trying to teach Scouts to do the next right thing and trying to keep us leaders reminded of such as well.
Ooh.
But and some Scouts come through and they really grasp that and they just continue on that way. But I've seen that scouting really rebounds people when they become adults. Maybe they've gone through, well, as myself, I was fairly wild when I was in high school and college. And, you know, those were not scouting values, but they were deep down, and without a doubt, they came back to me, and that's where a lot of that came from. And I've seen that in Scouts that I've had in the troop that have gone out, and most of them do pretty well right off the bat, but some of them are like me, and they have to
Right.
stray a little bit.
Yeah. So it's something that lives in us.
That's right.
And we never are without it. And we might, you said stray, but it's always coming back to the center. And Boy Scouts, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duties to God and my country.
To obey the Scout law,
Yeah.
help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Wow. Thank you, Ken. Now I want to go to your mom and dad a little more, and the Gideon camp and that part of your life, please.
Well, again, I'm blessed with good parents. They were married in '56, and my dad was involved in the community all his life. One of his big passions was Gideon's, and that is the nonprofit that gives away millions and millions of Bibles a year. But there were no Gideons in the South Camp part of Wilkes County, and the story goes that he was trying to get that going, and at Hotel Wilkes was the place of meeting on Main Street, North Wilkesboro. And the first 2 or 3 meetings, there was one person there. Only Dad was there. And he finally, another one came, and it just grew. And so he was involved in that organization, and until he was, he was a member until he died.
What was his name?
Gordon Finley, Jr.
And your mom's name?
She was a Ferguson, from Ferguson, North Carolina. Ferguson Finley. And what a blessing I've had with her. She is an artist. She's probably the kindest person I've ever met in my life, and she does for others as well in her own way. But she hand paints cards and sends to people. She's just very, gosh, what a wonderful woman.
Servant.
Yes, but with grace. She's been living with cancer for 8 years, and I've not heard her complain yet. A lot to learn from people like that.
A tragic loss in life is a parent losing a child.
Absolutely.
And I want you to embrace folks who've been there, and us who want to know about. If you just share a little bit about Cameron and
Sure.
that experience with us.
My wife and I have been married 31 years now, and early in our marriage, we had our first child, and that was Cameron. And then 4 years later, Tate, and 4 years later, Blair. And Tate's my son, and Blair's my daughter. Cameron was a young man that he grew up in with a lot of the opportunities that you have in sports, and he's an Eagle Scout. Attended church. He's a good son. He was good. Was in college at the time down in Durham. He'd come home for Christmas back in 2009, and he'd had quite an ankle injury, and he'd re-injured it, and he had gotten some pain pills from, well, let's say a friend, but he also had some respiratory problems. Minor, but the culmination of that and taking some opiates that he should not have taken caused him to not wake up one morning, and he passed away in our home. And that's frankly, I never knew how many people have been through that, and those folks were of great comfort to us over the years. That we saw that they were still up and at it and living life, and with faith and time, we're so much better 6 years later, and feel led to share our experience with others and to.
Do you have support groups? Do you get
There
together,
are, but not any formal ones right now.
Okay.
There's really not a one that we're a member of right now, but informal support groups, sure. We feel led to, and unfortunately other people are going through this, and there's new ones all the time, because, and to try to share our experience and our strength and our hope with them to just help them through it. There's no easy fix, but it's easier to do when you can lock arms with others that have been through that. So, when bad things happen, good things can follow. And that's a message I'd like to share with other people,
Wow. Thank you. Phases.
Right.
A recovery program, and its name is Phases, and it's
That's
here.
right.
It's right here.
Well, it is. It's addiction recovery and alcoholism. Our family has certainly been molded by that disease. Cameron he had a contributory, substance abuse helped lead to his death, and that's an impact that the imprint of that never goes away. I'm in recovery myself. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm so thankful to be in recovery. It's a good thing, and other family members, in the perimeter as well. But Wilkes has got a lot of people write that it's one of the worst counties in the state, or even the country sometimes, for overdose deaths, and we all know there's a lot of addiction problem here. So to be part of that solution, we have started Phases Recovery, and Devin Lyle is the owner-manager of that business, and I've worked closely with her to provide the home and just Phases is a recovery house, and women with addiction that want to get better live there. And a requirement of that is to, within 30 days or so, to be seeking work and obtaining a job, learning how to live life sober. And it's been real rewarding to see some of these folks coming back to life, and their eyes go from being dead to alive again, and their life and their actions in this spiritually based program are, it's just wonderful to see that happen. And it helps me in my own recovery, to have interaction with them.
We admitted we were powerless.
That's right.
That's where it starts.
That's right. Powerless over alcohol or powerless over drugs. And, it's interesting that our biggest strength is to give up that and, let the Lord have it and try to follow direction.
Right. You mentioned, is it a year old?
It's been open for maybe 9 months or so now.
Okay.
Very long waiting list, and we've begun a little bit of work with men's groups now, and so we'll see where this thing goes. It looks like there's a big opportunity in this county for much more of that recovery business, and I hope I can be a little part of it.
The last time we were together, there was a young man with you that's taken the right turn, and you were reaching out to him, and I could tell that you saw, as some of us say in the church I attend, that there's that of God in all of us, and you were looking for the best in him, and he was a graceful follower, and I hope and pray he's still doing well.
Well, I don't remember which one that was, but I think anybody that's been in the program, whether they make it, the whole time, or if they stumble and fall on the way, no matter what, they're better off to fight this disease if they've been in the program.
You're right.
And I hope he is too. I expect if I could remember which one it was, but there's always progress.
Yes. And the door's always open.
That's right.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
We're not all going to get it right all the time.
It was open for me a couple of times, so,
Heather Murphy has been our guest, and she's the executive director of this incredible health foundation. You serve that board.
I'm on that board.
Tell us about how's things work there and the benefits of being a board member.
Well, the Health Foundation was something that was kind of a brainchild of Alvin Sturdivant, a man who has been a big influence in my life. But once he finally retired, he's 90 years old now, but he was the impetus to buy West Park Shopping Center, which was a vacant shopping center, and it was bought under the Health Foundation, a nonprofit, and went through major renovation, and still over the years evolves into a medical center that houses many medical doctors, practices. Some of the hospital's functions are down there, departments, imaging
offices,
offices,
pharmacy.
And Village Inn Pizza Parlor's still there. I worked there the day it opened. Anyway, that's that they feed the medical community down there pizza.
Yeah, sure.
But the Health Foundation takes any cash flow or profit off of that, and it goes into scholarships or projects that are medically oriented, and they do a lot of good. We do a lot of good in this community, and Heather has been a really wonderful director.
Very dynamic leader.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And continues to do good in the community, and we're blessed to have that as a help to our medical community.
And I'm sure, I'm learning that it's such a visionary board. You're always looking down the road, and more's better. You know, more gifts we can put into the community, the better things will be.
That's right, and it helps so many organizations that don't have a place to call their office or their home. They're not all just doctors; they're nonprofits and so forth, and helps people. I know the diabetic community's been assisted in recent years by it, and just anything that has to do with health or mental health. They're there to support it.
Yep. Cam Finley is a community advocate. I guess there are a combination of a lot of people that blessed you, continuing to help you develop a servant's heart. Can you give us just a little overview of what does it mean to want to do for others? You help me with that?
Well, there have been a lot of folks that influenced my life in the Presbyterian Church, my parents, my family, the scouting, but I feel like I was blessed with a touch of compassion in my heart for others as well, and grandparents. My dad was always pulling for the underdog in sports or anything else. He had a magnetism to folks that were in need, and he would quietly do things. And frankly, he sacrificed greatly for some folks when he could have probably used some of those resources on himself. But that taught me a lot, and it's true. If you do for others, with a genuine heart, it just blesses you. And I'm not talking financially or materially. It just does. And and it's to whom much is given, much is required, is a verse in the Bible. And I've been blessed to be able to have some successes in life, and I feel like that the purpose of that is to use and distribute in some way, shape, or form to others, to help those that need it. And I wish we had that. We can wish and wish, but in the world, if only.
If only. I want to make a little turn here and talk about Robert Rosati. Get us together today.
Oh yeah.
And what a legend and legacy, Oakwoods Grocery.
Absolutely.
Robert and Sue.
It's an event just to go to Oakwoods Grocery. And
an event. That's the great word.
It is a social event. It's
charitable.
Don't be in a hurry.
Yeah.
But Robert is a people person times exponentially a people person. I've never seen him down and out ever. He's funny. He's interested in other people, and he's generous. And he and Sue. It's just there's another.
It's amazing.
There's another blessing in our community, and people go there because they feel comfortable there.
Someone mentioned to me one day about, do you know him? I said no, and he said, my goodness, he said you must do that, and today. And so I drove straight there, and my life it's an enhancement that it tops my gratitude list. Robert Rosati in Oakwoods Grocery. It's one of those places where we always leave a better person. Right.
And a little bit late to our next event.
You mentioned your advocacy for arts and culture, preservation, the environment, other things you do. Would you speak to some of those for me?
Well, my mother and a lot of her family are in the arts. They can paint and do all kinds of cool stuff, and some of my brothers and sisters can, but I use a ruler to do a straight line, but I enjoy seeing what they can do and how they use that gift. And the Wilkes Art Gallery is a really good, is a wonderful gallery here in Wilkes County, and I've been blessed to be a support to that through the years. And Wilkes County has a lot to offer in arts and theater and culture, those kind of things. You just got to look for them. I mean, they're there. You really don't have to even look for them. You've just got to actually utilize them. Yeah, here's something that I've not experienced. I think I'll go experience that this weekend. And the natural beauty that we have here goes hand in hand with that. We have vineyards. We have mountains, rivers, plenty of water. There's so much to do if we'll just get out and do it. And I'm talking to myself too. Sometimes these things are, cause outdoor deficiency syndrome.
Yeah.
And, but I feel better every time once I've been outside and done some things. And there's plenty to offer here, and we just really need to, make ourselves get off
I
the
think
couch
this
and go do it.
this community, when we talk about our great schools, hospital, community college, tourism, good roads, we're going to have great water here before long, forever and ever. Your life has been such an integral part of this community, and this led to the Two Rivers Theater. And what I want you to make sure you emphasize for us today is you said, I know this community, and I wanted this thing we did was to enhance lives here. So talk about Two Rivers as we come close to the end.
Well, as a developer, I kind of can see what the missing pieces are, and one of the number one things that new families, especially with children, say, well, where's the theater? And we had a gap there. We've always had the wonderful Liberty Theater down on Main Street, and it is a wonderful asset for us. But it has 2 screens, and for many years I wanted to develop a theater here. Could not get the big companies just to come pounce down. It's just a marginal. In their eyes, it was marginal. In my eyes, it's never been marginal. I remember the days we had 3 double theaters and a single, and they were all kind of full. But nevertheless, through a lot of time and some hard work and taking a wee bit of risk,
Significant risk.
we were able to build a theater and find a wonderful operator in Richard Johnston and his son Nick from up around Mount Airy.
Yeah.
And they have done a great job there, and sure enough, it's working, and it's working well.
Great. Way to go. Cam, you've been a wonderful guest, and you'll always be a wonderful guest, and you'll always have an invitation to come back here. As we draw to the end of this giving and sharing and caring, just wrap your life up, just frame a little bit about the blessings, and show us that gratitude list.
Well, this is something I do on occasion. This gratitude list has been hanging in my closet for a long time, right where I can see it, and it's a good exercise for me to write down the things that I feel like I'm thankful for. And I just took this piece of cardboard I probably found on the floor and wrote them down, and it was years ago. And it's amazing if we'll concentrate on it, all the things that we do have to be grateful for. And when I do this, I don't concentrate on the things that are bad in my life, because the bad things. I think there's always something that needs work in our lives.
Yep.
And sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's tragic, and we can't ignore those, but we can put it in perspective if we'll look at all the things that we do have to be thankful for, and pay attention to them, and thank God for them.
Gratitude is the memory of the heart. And we want to thank again Wilkes Communications, the Riverstreet Productions, WIFM, wonderful people in this community like Cam Finley that would come here and share your experience, strength, and hope. And close with just a sentence or two, if you will.
Well, I'm thankful to be in Wilkes County for many reasons, and I hope that Wilkes Countyans that might catch a glimpse of this show or anything else can just try to do the next right thing to help themselves and the community. And if we'll all do that, we'll be amazed at the results.
And the happiest people are seeking and finding ways to serve God, family, friends, and worthy causes.
That's
God bless you.
Top of the list.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.